Welcome to Real Talk with AJ, an open, honest conversation with creative geniuses and industry experts. We are here with a sliced dose of motivation, served with truth, with a sprinkle of pure vibes. We are talking about everything: lifestyle, social issues, education, entertainment, spirituality, culture, relationships, life, and so much more. There is something for everyone. Catch us every Wednesday by 7:30 a.m. on Nectar Podcast on YouTube. I am your host, Jerry. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Real Talk with EJ. I am your host, Jerry. EJ is Real Talk with EJ rather is powered by Nectar Studios. We are back again with a sliced dose of motivation, served with truth, with a sprinkle of pure vibes. How is everyone doing today? I hope you guys had a good weekend, a good week so far. It's Wednesday again, it's the middle of the week. I'm sure most of us are already tired. Like, oh my God, it's already Wednesday. Chill, okay? Right? Just Wednesday. Friday's around the corner. All right. Okay, so before we start the show, I just want to personally give a shout out to Burna Boy and Wizkid for getting nominated for the Grammys. That's huge accomplishment. I'm gonna give them a round of applause to that. It's not easy. I am in awe of the fact that Afrobeat music is literally taking over the music space worldwide. So shout out to Wizkid, shout out to Burna Boy for that nomination. All right, so as usual, we're going to start with the quote of the day. So our quote for today is, make a conscious effort to become a force to be reckoned with in every area of your life. God did not give you all that talent and give so that you can be ordinary. You cannot strive and work this hard just to be average. So you have to be very intentional about wanting to be the best of the best in your field. All right, so today our topic is going to be a bit deep. It's a broad topic, and I have a queen in the house that's going to help me to break down this topic. It's huge, it's broad, but we're going to just take a slice of it and elaborate it as much as we can. And the topic for today is the mind is a powerful tool. The mind, a powerful tool. How do I put this? We don't rate our minds as much as we ought to. We just think, oh my God, it's the mind. What can it possibly be? But I will tell you this: half or at least 80% of your reality is created by your mind. So whatever it is that you go through, you most likely are the one that is creating it from your mind. But you didn't know that, right? Well, you're welcome. And today, our guest today is going to help us to break that down and elaborate that. But before we dive into our topic for today, I want to just read some fun facts for you, which is we have the power within us that is far superior to any condition or circumstance outside of us. With free will given to us by God, obviously, our thoughts direct this power and to whatever results we choose. So basically, your free will is what brings out you. So God is so intentional that he gave you, go, have free will. I'm not going to interfere with your free will. I've given you power and authority to take over the earth and do with the earth what you please. So, and that power starts from your mind. So what you conceive in your mind is actually what births your reality, but you don't know that. So that's what they always say: be careful what you think about, because what you think about is what you become at the end of the day. So one of my favorite authors, oh my God, James Allen, he said in his book, I think, As a Man Thinketh, he said, mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind. That's huge. He thinks in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is but a looking glass. So your environment really doesn't affect your circumstance. It actually starts with you. Mind is mind. So the power that we have is here. So we say our thoughts are powerful. So mind is mind. So what we perceive, they always say, this popular quote that says, if you think it, you can be it. So everything that ever exists, the guy that created this cup probably thought of this cup first before it actually became reality. So let's just have that in mind. So another author, say, I think her name is Alia Crum, an assistant professor of psychology and director of Stanford Mind and Body Lab. She said, our minds aren't passive observers that simply perceive reality as it is. Our minds actually change our reality. That's profound. I didn't even know that. When I read that, I was like, whoa. So my mind is actually, I am a living condition of my mind. I created this, but we are not self-aware enough and not conscious enough to admit the fact that, okay, my situation right now is created by me. It takes a certain level of self-awareness to be able to say to yourself, you know what, and responsibility, taking responsibility for your action, to say, this situation I'm in is created by me, I caused it, and I'm going to own up to it and do something different to give myself a different outcome. So you become what you think about. The thoughts we choose eventually directs the results of our lives. I mean, I'm sure some of you all know this, some of you all didn't know this, but that's why we're here, to educate you on these things. All right, so they say the brain expects that a treatment will work. It sends healing chemicals into the bloodstream, which facilitates that. Then the opposite is actually true and equally powerful. When the brain expects that a therapy will not work, it doesn't work. This is called the Nakobe effect. So sometimes there was a popular story of a guy that went to a doctor, said, oh my God, I'm having this headache. He keeps coming back with the same headache. So the doctor gave him a white medicine and said, go and take this, you'll feel better. He took it, he came back and said, oh, I feel so much better. What was that medicine? He said, vitamin C. I said, well, how come it works? Because you knew that this thing would work. Because you believed it would work, that's why it worked. So if you believe that something is going to happen, that's exactly what happens. And if you believe it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen for you. So Albert Einstein says, everything is energy, and that's all that there is. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. This is not philosophy, it's just physics. So your point of view create your reality. Reality does not create your point of view. If you shift your point of view, you could probably have a different reality. This is from Dr. Dane Hare. God, I hope I said that right. Okay, so that's the brief intro to our topic for today. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I am going to delve in deep and sit in and get some knowledge on this topic from one of my favorite people in the world, Dr. Cordella Etuk. Be right back.
And how do you feel these days?
Unsure.
And your dreams?
I try not to have them.
How?
There were moments, good times, with love, friendship, the things we took for granted. It all turned dark. Unnatural, unthinkable. But as long as I live and breathe, I will bring down the full weight of the law. But there are things unpardonable that only God can forgive.
Tell me, do you know the poem Humpty Dumpty?
Okay, welcome back to Real Talk with EJ. Okay, so our topic for today is the mind, a powerful tool. So my guest today, oh gosh, where do I start? I met her late last year, and my mom introduced us, and I went to her office and we sat down and we had one of the most deep in-depth intellectual conversations I've ever had in my life. And I was in awe of this woman. You know when somebody is speaking and you be like, God, that's me. That's me when I'm older. That's how I felt listening to her talk. I mean, Dr. Cordella Etuk is a woman of many talents. I would know because, like I said, we are kind of similar. She's a medical doctor. She's an entrepreneur. She's a John Maxwell certified teacher and a coach. Her personal philosophy, which I love, is be more, do more, live more. So she's always pushing boundaries. This is true. Overcoming limitations and conquering new territories. This is also true. She is the pioneer of this amazing conference called Get Your Year Right. It happens every, the first week in January, where we have to sit down and conceptualize your year, plan your year. And I would tell you, one of the things, the birth of this podcast started when I went to her show, when I went to her conference, and she told us, write down what you want this year to be for you. What are the things you want to accomplish? And this podcast was one of them. So sitting here in this podcast with the very person that inspired this podcast is nothing. It's so real. Her purpose is to inspire women to make the shift from fear to faith, failure to freedom, frustration to fulfillment, to become the best and accomplish their highest potential. She's an avid reader and a constant learner. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the one and only Dr. Mrs. Cordella Etuk.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Eno. I'm so glad. I'm excited to be here. I'm really, really, really glad. And I'm excited. Thank you so much for your wonderful intro. And congratulations on this. This is a real achievement, and I'm so proud of you for this.
Thank you. You know, it's funny, when I was having a conversation with you said one of the things we learned during the Get Your Year Right was if you don't write down your dreams, it will just be in the atmosphere. You have to bring it to paper. The moment you transfer it from your mind to the paper, it now becomes an action plan. So when I wrote this thing down, and COVID-19 happened, I was like, wait, what? Everything I wanted to do this year, how am I going to start a podcast when lockdown, there's so much going on? But to actually sit here, and this is a reality, and having you come and say, it's so real. It's so real.
Wow, that's awesome, really.
Thank you so
awesome.
much.
And yes, you're right. Once you conceive something, whatever the mind can conceive, it can bring to pass.
So tell us, who is Dr. Etuk? Tell us about yourself.
Wow. Okay, so let me just try and abridge because I think my story is wide, broad, and long and all that. But like you said, I'm actually, a person of many parts. So in terms of training, I started out as a medical doctor.
Okay.
And then somewhere along the line, I veered into entrepreneurship. I'm actually an interior designer.
Yes.
Interior
She's good, guys. She's
professional interior designer, which was something I ventured into because out of a hobby, out of just the love for beauty and aesthetics, and finding that everywhere is so disabled around me and trying to bring order, to a space and to people's lives. And then I'm also I'm a teacher, trainer, and coach.
Ooh.
Like you've said, I'm a John Maxwell certified coach.
Okay.
And also I'm affiliated to a number of other bodies. Wow. But I'm a mom, a joyful mom at that. I have 2 lovely young adults and a husband that dotes over me.
Oh man, I've heard you talk about them during the conference. I'm just like, oh my God, I aspire. So tell us more about this. I want people to know more about this Get Your Year Right, because I didn't know about it until when I met you. When you talked about it, I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be just another conference, but I went there and my life changed. And I would say that literally, that changed my life. This is a result of that conference. So tell us more about this conference.
So I'm actually very excited to hear this. So this Get Your Year Right started from, I think the idea just came in December 2017.
Okay.
Let me digress a little bit. I'm a person of faith. Okay. So a lot of the things that happen with me, I will talk about God telling me or the Holy Spirit telling me, you know, because I have a vibrant relationship with the Most High, with the Holy Spirit. So in 2017, December, he said to me, this year is good. The next year was going to be a very spectacular year, and he wanted me to get ready for it. You know, and that was the first time that I was actually hearing, get ready for the year. You know, get ready for the year. And over the times that we've held this conference, so that's what led to it. That's why, you know, we started the conference, because I realized that we need to prepare for the journey. The new year is not just a collection of days, you know, on the calendar. It's really what makes a new year or the next year new and next is all that you pack into it. Whatever you do, whatever you accomplish, that's what makes it a new year. Otherwise, without tangible new accomplishments within the next 12 month season, then it might as well have just been like 10 years ago. So a lot of people are living right now in 2020, but they're actually in 1973 because they haven't added anything new. They've not really like made progress. They are just going around in circle.
Okay, carry on.
And you know, one more thing about this 12-month period, very significant, because that's divine order. You know, if you go to the Bible, it talks about in the book of Genesis that God sets the sun, the stars, and the moon, the heavenly bodies, to mark times and seasons. So, of course, our calendar is a compilation of the movement of these planetary bodies and how, you know, the seasons and the times that are affected by them and by their movement. And then when you go to there's a parable that Jesus told about the tree, about the owner of a vineyard who came around and said, look, I've been coming for this past 3 years and I've not found any fruit from this tree. And he said to the vine dresser, cut it down. You know, but the vine dresser said, no, let's work on it. Let me just, you know, dig around it, put a little bit of fertilizer and give it 12 more months. And if by this time next year, it doesn't bear fruit, then we can say we can cut it down. So in the divine perspective, God expects that in 12 years, he should come, in 12 months, he should come around and say to you, what have you done? What have you done? So preparation is vital. Okay, proper preparation will lead to powerful performance. So
that's a word. I'm gonna tweet that. That's powerful. Funny you said that, because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine that lives in Lagos, and they said, I've been grinding for 5 years and I'm still in the same place. I'm not seeing any result. And I heard it clearly. I was like, you know, there's a place of purpose for everyone. And there's no way you will plant cassava this year and you will not reap it this same year. So if you find yourself in a place doing something and after 12 months, you haven't seen any result, you haven't seen any progress, you are probably working out of purpose. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. That's not where you're supposed to be. So what you're saying is so profound.
Or you're not doing it right.
Or you're not doing it right.
Or you're not doing it enough. Or you're not doing it consistently. Okay. Or you haven't really worked out your strategies. Or somehow perhaps your mind is limiting you. So, but again, you know, what is important is there are different times and seasons for different things and for different people. So in 12 months, you may not have seen really definitive, tangible results, but you would have seen that you've made progress. You will definitely look back and say, I'm not where I used to be. Okay, there would have been some shift, some movement, some growth, some change. Something must have happened. Okay,
so you said something very profound. You said our minds are limiting us, which kind of like coincides with our topic for today, our mind, which is a powerful tool. So how can our mind limit us? Like, what is it about our mind that is like the determining factor of how our lives are turning out, really?
So the mind is a very powerful force, you know, much more powerful than we care to realize. So let me begin from maybe the beginning. Let me put it that way. That as human beings, okay, we know that we are tripartite. We are made up of the spirit, the soul, and the body. And that we're given birth or created by God. Okay, so in the first place, we have the same mind and mindset and capabilities put within us as God has, except that through circumstances and situations, through the constant feeding of our minds, through the things that happen, the things we hear, see, taste, touch, through the, interactions of our five senses with the environment, we keep feeding our minds. And what we feed, when we feed our minds, we program our minds. So our minds work like the computer. It's like garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
When you feed, whatever happens to you, even though you may react physiologically or physically, okay? It sort of leaves a message, sends a message to the mind, to the subconscious, let me put it that way, subconscious mind, and there's a record or a storage of that event, and that event will ultimately be interpreted in a particular way or a particular pattern. So the mind is like central processing unit, if you like, of the human being. So it's not so much about all that happens. Two people can have the same experiences, but their interpretations will be different. Yeah. And everyone, when we are born, we're actually born with a mind that's, as it were, like a clean slate. Yeah. Except that we have certain primordial, should I say, reflexes and instincts, like a baby must locate the mother's breast to suck, and all that. The kinds of reflexes that enable us to survive. Other than that, the reflexes that are critical that we come with, every other thing is programmed. Wow. Every other thing is learned. Wow. Every other thing is learned, is programmed, and can be interpreted and brought out. So that's why I said that the mind is so powerful, because it's what you have programmed into it that it gives back to you when the occasion arises.
That's beautiful. That's so profound. I mean, something about the subconscious mind. I mean, you always hear conscious mind, subconscious mind. Which of these runs the show? Like, who is the boss? Like, is it the conscious mind? Is it subconscious mind?
So I believe that the subconscious mind is actually the boss. The conscious mind helps you to interact, but there's a lot more than the interaction. The real process, the real processing is what really happens behind the scene that really, really matters. Okay, that ultimately determines the outcome. Do you understand? Yeah. So at the beginning, what happens to someone? Okay, so let me give you an example, if I may. Yeah. All right. So you ask a child not to touch a hot plate, okay, because it's hot. But the child doesn't know that it's hot until the child touches the hot plate and it burns, and he's crying and screaming and all that. Yeah. Now, if you scream at the child, "I told you so, you shouldn't have touched it, you're very stubborn," and all that. Yeah. All of that information goes into the subconscious, is taken in and is stored. Okay? Sometimes some of it can be dropped off, but a good a chunk of it is stored in. Yeah. Now, it won't mean much unless and until that whole scenario is replayed or it is reinforced by it happening again or repetition. Then there's a recall of, this is how it is. So it gets reinforced. And if things like that keep happening over and over and over, after a while, the subconscious begins to interpret every time. If I touch something hot, it's going to hurt me. I'm going to be berated. I'm not loved. All kinds of interpretations can come. So the subconscious mind is more powerful because that's the seat of the meaning or the interpretation that we give to the events that happen to us.
That's so crazy. Okay, guys, we're going to go on a quick break. Let me just use like 2 seconds to digest this information. It's crazy. We'll be right back, so just stay tuned.
White shirt, now red, my bloody nose sleeping. You're on your tippy toes creeping around bruises on both my knees for you. Don't say thank you, oh please. I do what I want when I'm wanting to. My soul so cynical. So you're a tough guy, like you really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff guy. I'm that bad type, make your mama sad type, make your girlfriend mad type, might seduce your dad type. I'm the bad guy. Duh. I'm the bad guy.
All right, welcome back to Real Talk with EJ. If you're just joining us, well, you missed, so you can just skip back and then you can catch up so far. Here with me is the one and only incredible, intelligent, supernatural, talented Dr. Cordella Etuk. We were talking about the mind being a powerful tool. I just wanted to ask, so when we say our mind, is it different from our brain? Like, what's the difference between our minds and our brain? Because it feels like they're all located at the same place. So, like, what's the difference?
Okay, so the brain is different from the mind.
Okay.
The brain is a physiological part of the body.
Okay.
Okay, and the brain works with the natural mind, the natural body, as it were.
Okay.
The brain controls, the movements and gives instructions to all the other parts of the body as to what to do, to your heart to beat right, and for your intestines to digest the food that's just been eaten, or for your muscles to move when you want to move from, maybe stand up from where you're seated. The brain sends all of that instruction and coordinates all of those activities so that you appear very normal, very well coordinated and all that.
Okay.
But the brain also, in a sense, because neuroscience has taught us that there is some sort of connection. Initially, we didn't think there was a connection between the brain and the mind, or the soul, if you like. The mind is almost like an intangible part. So if you cut up a human being right now, you dissect them, maybe like the way we used to do in those days in the anatomy lab, you wouldn't find the mind. You wouldn't find it. You would find the brain, and you will find all the other parts of the body that we know, but you wouldn't find the mind. So the mind is the part of the body that's actually the spiritual part, the part that you do not see as it were. And that's the seat of our intellect, the seat of the will, and the seat of the emotion. The intellect for learning, the will for making decisions, and the emotions for how you feel and how you react or how you relate, with the environment.
That's crazy. Wow. I'm guys, I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much. So let's just take it like a step deeper. So do you think that because I read somewhere that the subconscious mind is the one that how did they put it? So the conscious mind does it and can decide whether or not they want to do something. The subconscious mind does not have the ability to discern, okay, I shouldn't do this, or like make decisions. Is it the subconscious mind that makes decisions for us, or is it conscious mind that makes those decisions for us?
It's the subconscious mind
that makes decisions.
That makes the decisions.
Calls the calls. Okay.
Yes. It's the subconscious mind that calls the shots and dictates. Yes, of course.
I thought it was the conscious, because I'm like, I'm here. I can say, no, I don't want to drink this.
Okay, so why? Okay, it's the subconscious mind that gives you the reason, that gives you the judgment. Okay? Do you get?
Okay.
You decide whether to pick it or not pick it. It's from your subconscious. Let's assume right now that what you've got inside that cup is some sort of soda. Okay, and you know that maybe your doctor has said don't drink
any soda.
It's not good for your health.
Yeah.
Okay, so to you, you might think that is a conscious decision for you to drink or not to drink.
Yeah.
But what gives rise or gives birth? What's driving that decision? It's the subconscious mind. Because you can decide to drink. Okay. What's knowing that it's going to hurt you?
Yeah.
Or you can decide not to, still knowing that it's going to hurt. You can decide that, look, I don't want to drink it because I just don't want to be hurt. My health is important.
Yeah.
You know, I've got work to do. I've got to be alive to carry on with this.
Yeah.
My assignment is critical, and I've got to do everything that I need to do to make sure that I stay fit and stay in shape.
Yeah.
What's driving that perception of yourself, of your life, of your value, of your worth? What's giving the value? What's driving your decision? It's what's driving your decision that ultimately helps you to sway to the left or to the right, whether you drink or you don't drink. If, on the other hand, you feel like, well, what does it matter? I don't care. That doctor is crazy. After all, the whole world is drinking this soda and it's not doing anything. And you could say to yourself, something must kill someone. Like one of my uncles says,
something must kill a man.
Something must kill a man. I don't care. That is a summation of your view. Of either yourself or your value or your worth, your assignment or your purpose or what you mean to people or what what your health means to you. What's driving that?
What's driving that?
It's from your mind, from your values, is your subconscious mind.
I'm in awe of what you just said. You said a lot of things that happens, like what is driving our decisions. Yeah. We live in a society where we are being forced to conform. Everyone is doing it, so you should do it. But even society frowns on those who dare to be different. Or I dare to be my own person. You go to schools, school says, okay, you have to look a certain way, act a certain way. You go to families, act like your brother. No, why can't you be more like this person? So we spend our lives trying to fit into a box that is not even our size, it's not even our shape. And do you how dangerous is this thing that everybody must act a certain way? Because that in itself, to me, it makes one feel like stifled, and you feel uncomfortable. I can't live because society says I shouldn't, so I have to try and fit into a square box when I'm a circle. So how dangerous is this phenomenon?
Well, if you ask straight away how dangerous it is, it is dangerous. But before we answer that, saying, before we conclude on that it's dangerous, we really need to look at certain things, certain basics. Okay, we need to look at, first of all, we live as social beings, which means we live with others, amongst people, and we interact with people. And society, in a way, gives us some sort of code of conduct. Whilst to some extent or at some extreme, it could be, stifling and dangerous. Yeah. But most and generally, the code of conduct, the society sort of evolves somehow for our own good and protection. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, the boundaries that are created for our own good and protection. If someone wakes up and says, "I feel like shooting everybody," and society says,
"No, there's that,"
because that's the way I'm wired. I'm just wired to just
kill.
go on shooting. How crazy is that? So, to some extent, we've got to understand that the boundaries that are put in place, some of them are natural boundaries, and some others are boundaries that have come out, cultural boundaries, let me put it that way. Boundaries that have come out of our culture. Some of them are environmental boundaries. So some of them are boundaries that are just put on by families and the way we see things. So in a way, yes, I wouldn't condemn all, but I would say that yes, it's not absolutely right. To keep insisting that people must live within certain boxes. Moreover, I think that a box, when you think about a box, most times the box is not created by the other person for you. It's created by you.
Your mind.
Your mind.
Ooh! Okay, I think that's a fantastic way to round up this episode. Like that's so profound. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you. It was such an honor having you here. You have to come back because this topic is just like this mind conversation. We will need like 5 episodes to break this down because it's a lot. It's so deep. And I hope we all learned something in this episode. I mean, I learned a lot. I'm going to go back and tweet half of what she said today. So thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
A word for someone. A word for someone.
So riding on the last thing I said, that the box and the limitations sometimes created by you, I like everyone to begin to question and begin to look at the way they interpret things and the things that have happened to them and ask themselves, did this happen to me or did it happen for me? Am I a victim or am I the empowered one in this circumstance? I just believe that we all need to begin to sort of take back our power and our agency and determine that we have what it takes to be more, to live more, to do more.
Woo! Thank you so much. And just to add to what she said, don't be a victim, because if you live with the victim mentality, you can never grow. So step out of your victimhood and become a victor. Thank you so much. My name is Jerry. This is Real Talk with AJ.
Welcome to Real Talk with AJ, an open, honest conversation with creative geniuses and industry experts. We are here with a sliced dose of motivation, served with truth, with a sprinkle of pure vibes. We are talking about everything: lifestyle, social issues, education, entertainment, spirituality, culture, relationships, life, and so much more. There is something for everyone. Catch us every Wednesday by 7:30 a.m. on Nectar Podcast on YouTube. I am your host, Jerry.